Okay, here is how you can evaluate expressions with variables. Okay, so let's look at example number 1. So we're given the expression right here, k minus, in parentheses, k minus h. Okay, and then it says use h equals 3 and k equals 5. Okay, all right, so what that is just telling us is in the expression it gives us, in order to evaluate it, they want us to evaluate it as if h is equal to 3 and k is equal to 5. So wherever h is in our expression, I'm going to put 3. Wherever k is, instead of k, I'm going to replace it with 5. Okay, it's giving us the values to substitute in for those variables of h and k. So if I were to rewrite this, I would be, instead of k minus, it'd be 5 minus. And in parentheses, instead of k minus h, it'd be 5 minus 3. Okay, so then in order to evaluate that, now that I have numbers, I can evaluate it. I've got to use the order of operations, right? PEMDAS, parentheses first, right? So in the parentheses is 5 minus 3, that's 2. So now it's really just 5 minus 2 right there. Okay, so instead of 5 minus 3, I have the 2. Okay, 5 minus 2, that's my last step. I only have one operation to do. 5 minus 2 we know is 3. Boom, that one's done. Okay, so just from that example, you can see all you need to do is substitute in the values for the variables that they give you, and then evaluate using order of operations. So let's look at example number 2. h, k minus j, that's our expression. They say use h equals 4, j equals 6, and k equals 6. So I'm going to replace those numbers in for the variables and for the proper variables. So instead of h times k, I'm going to write 4 times 6. So 4 times 6, okay, and I still have a minus j, but instead of j, I'm going to put 6 because j equals 6, so minus 6 there. So really now when I've replaced the values for the variables, I have 4 times 6, all minus 6. Okay, well, if we're using PEMDAS, right, order of operations, I'll write it up here, we should address parentheses first. Well, in the parentheses, I have a 6, but that's it. So nothing I can do with that yet inside the parentheses. Exponents, there's no exponents. Multiplication, you might not see a multiplication symbol here, but just remember, when you have this part of the expression right here, a number next to parentheses, and there's no operation symbol there. So there's no operation symbol between the 4 and the parentheses. That means multiplication. So there is multiplication even though there's no dot to symbolize that. So it's really 4 times 6 right there. So that's 24 minus 6 now. And the last thing to do is subtract because that's all there is left. And 24 minus 6 we know is 18. And that's it for number 2. Okay, number 3. Number 3. Okay, b minus a plus b. Well, a is equal to 1 and b equals 5. So instead of b minus a, I'm going to write 5 minus 1. And instead of plus b, I'm going to put plus 5. Okay, so all I did was substitute 1 in for a and 5 in for the 2 b's. And now I can solve it. And remember, if we're doing PEMDAS, only thing here is subtraction and addition, the last 2 steps in PEMDAS, in order of operations. But you always want to work left to right, okay? So if I have addition and subtraction like I have here, we want to go in order from left to right. So we got to do 5 minus 1 first. 5 minus 1 is 4. Then we have left over, we have 4 plus that 5, which is 9. Okay, last example. Okay, number 4. All we have for the expression is 6xy. Okay, remember, if you don't see an operational symbol in between those terms, 6x and y, okay, that means it's really 6 times x times y. Okay, so it's multiplication. All right, well, x equals 2 and y equals 4 in this case, so it should be 6 times 2, and y is 4, so times 4. And work left to right, it's always a good habit. So 6 times 2 is 12, so now we have 12 times 4, which is 48.